Alright, yeah, we're going to start something here. It's a little different. I was out in the shed, and I seen this sitting in the corner, and you know, we got that virus going around, so we're pretty much stuck here in the house, and no shows to go to or nothing. So I figure let me pull this in and see if it's junk or what. It's in pretty rough shape. It's an old Tecumseh generator. Small generator. You don't see them very often. I've never seen them before, but I have one. And I was at a show, and even though I've never seen them before, the guy right next to us had this for sale. And when everything was getting packed up and everything we're leaving, he didn't sell it. So I picked it up for practically nothing. But like I say, this thing is in bad shape. The electrical box is falling off. I didn't even look at it. I know it's seized. I don't know why it's seized, but the pull starter ain't coming out. It's missing all these bolts. It's supposed to have 4 bolts holding it in, and it only has 1. And it's supposed to have little rubber feet on it. And what else is wrong with this? I don't know if I mentioned it. It looks like it's missing a gas tank here. And the air filter, it's missing the air filter cover, and it just looked like it had a rough life. Plus, it looks like somebody had their mitts into it, and usually when somebody that don't know what they're doing or doesn't know anything about anything takes something apart like this, and don't put it back together, there's, you don't know what you're going to run into. I don't even think I would have taken a generator part apart. I would, if I had a problem with that generator, I would have had Mike look at it. So I'm gonna take this apart, maybe clean it up, and see if it may not even be worth fixing. Who knows? But let me get a seat here. See, I don't even know what year it is. Looks like, it's all oily and greasy and everything. It looks like somebody cleared this off here because this is nice and clean. That must have happened at the sale. But let me get this out of the way here. See what we got here. This here is also an oil gauge. I don't know if you guys ever see that. You see how clear that is? It's got this little float that tells you when you need oil. But anyway, let me see if I remember. Like I said, I had one of these. From the looks of the number, it's 3 horsepower. That's vertical. I think that's light something. Vertical engine. And then the serial numbers here at 7159. The 7 is the year, and I'm guessing it's a 67 because the other one I had was a 9 and it was a 69. And then the 159 is the day of the year, whatever that comes out to. That would be like, I don't know, 4th or 5th month. But anyway, yeah, that's the day. So 1967, the 159th day of the year. So we know that much. And then down here is a little bit about the generator itself. If I recall, it was like 1 1/4. Let's see what we got here. Don't want to focus in. There we go. 1.25 kilowatts, single phase. 60 hertz, 115 volt, 12 amp, 3600 RPM. So that's what we got. Like I say, this thing is in bad shape. I'm going to I'll put you guys up on a tripod and we'll just start taking it apart and see what we got. Like I said, we might have junk. There's something else I noticed. The yellow paint here appears to be factory because wherever it's scraped down the metal and stuff, it doesn't look like it was another color. And even the carburetor and all this, you don't see any other color but yellow. Until you get up on the housing here, and it was green. And that was the color of the one I had, the other one I had. It was that color green. And it's strange. Like right here it's green, but over here it's not. So I don't know what's going on there. So if anything, if the thing does run and you know, maybe we get generator running and stuff and get the thing operating. Maybe we'll give it a fresh coat of paint. Just try to make it sellable, whatever. Just to get it out of my shed, because I don't need it. The thing weighs like 70 pounds, so. Alright, let me throw these up on a tripod. Alright, let's take this shroud off here. Oh wow. Man, oh man. Where's my zip gun? Keep a note of the size of them bolts in case they're different. Alright, they're all the same size. Let's go around back here. You guys ain't gonna see this, but I'll let you know what's going on. These are different size. These have a 7/16 or yeah, 7/16 head on them. Yeah, by taking the housing off, that'll just make it easier to clean when I take it outside. Plus, we'll be able to see maybe the last one I had was seized, and the only problem was the shroud. Well, not so lucky this time. Oh, there we go. Actually heard some compression. I don't know where it was coming out of. It's relatively easy to spin. Oh, I see. Looks like it might be a leaky head gasket there. Plus coming out the valves. Alright. Well, that's a good sign. One less thing we gotta fix. Got a little wasp nest in there. Maybe you can see that. Inactive wasp nest. Yeah, just a little sluggish. Okay. Maybe I'll take this off. Not much holding this on. Alright, it's a little loose and sloppy. Let me get that off and I'll turn you guys back on. Alright, I got you tilted up here, balanced a little bit, so let's take the wheel out first before we start taking anything apart. Well, that wasn't tight at all. See what it looks like. It don't look bad at all. Usually when you get something like that, it don't look bad. It means it looked like hell before they brought it to a show to sell it. And they just put something clean in there. You get a rag for that. We're going to let that drain for a little bit. Alright. Yeah, one of the reasons I wanted to drain that oil there is because I wanted to take this one bolt out and see what's going on with the bottom here, if we can actually take it off. See if we can see what's going on down there. This is all cattywampus here. let me get a drift that out. This bottom here is all twisted. That might make it a little easier. Like I said, I don't know what we're going to see down here. I don't even know if this bottom can come off. Okay. It can come off. Matter of fact, it is off. Only thing holding up this wire. Huh. So I couldn't unscrew this bottom here because it was spinning when I was trying to take it off. It was spinning. So I got that off. Never looked under here. Never seen anything like this. You spin it upside down. Oh Jesus! This thing is heavy. Huh. It don't look bad, to tell you the truth. Like I said, I'll have to get Mike to look at it, but I don't see anything visibly cut or torn or ripped or anything. These wires here might need a little work, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this out and clean it up a little, and then put the bottom back on to protect these wires, because they probably got an enamel coating on there, and you don't want to cut that. Matter of fact, I see something over here that's looks like it might have almost cut into that. Yeah, here's another piece. Yeah, if you get breaks in them wires and they touch, you know you're shorted out. You got no generator, so have to be very careful with that. Like I say, I don't know if you guys can see that. You're pretty far away, but there's a little bit of enamel broke off right here. Alright. I think maybe I'll take it out and clean it like this, you know, instead of putting it on its on the bottom. Alright, maybe we'll see out there when we clean it. Alright, yeah, I'm looking it over, and I think I'm going to put the bottom on here. I just found a couple of bolts long enough to hold that bottom on, and that way it'll protect the wires. And then I'll take the flywheel off, the muffler off, the carburetor off, and you know, other stuff. The more stuff off, the easier it is to clean. Let me try and stand it up here, balance it. Alright, you guys keep your eye on that so it don't fall over. Let me get the bottom. Actually, it doesn't really matter how I put this on, but we'll put it on the way it belongs anyway. I'm going to stick 2 bolts in. Yeah, I think after I take all the stuff off and clean it, I think I'll go inside and give Mike a call and see if he's in the area. Maybe he can come check, see if that generator is even ever going to work. Alright, that's tight enough. It's just to keep the bottom on so we can take the top off and stuff. Oh man. Whew. Whew. I'm curious to see what's under this flywheel anyway. Let me get the I'll probably have to get that off with an air gun. Let me get the air gun. Alright, I brought you around this way because the lighting's a little bit better. And let me zoom in. I'm going to need you guys' help to help me remember how to put this linkage up. Because if I remember, it was pretty complex. Not complex, but a little harder to remember than the other engines I've dealt with. Because when this linkage goes down under and hooks to the carburetor, and then this one on the bottom comes up and I think hooks to your throttle control here. So, and then this spring just sits here. And the only thing that keeps that from falling off is that top linkage. So let's start by taking this top plate off. Oh. Let me turn these around so I can see. Sorry about that, I didn't mean to get my arm in your way. Alright, and these screws are all the way back. Alright. Yeah, I remember on the last one I did, I caught hell trying to figure out how that linkage went on. Alright, now that goes on this arm right here. Goes from the bottom into the top. Okay, for now we'll just leave that, whoop, I was going to say we'll just leave that lay there. That just hangs on there. Alright, now this other one we're going to have to, can you see all the way over here? Now, just barely, let me lower these down a little bit. Hold on. Alright. Alright, this is what we got to see. There we go. Got to see them bolts. These are like a number 3 screw. I thought they were going to be tough. I thought they were going to be hard. Alright, she's ready to come off. Alright, now this, you can either bend down like this and take it out, or we can move it over to the edge and take it out this way. And then, let me turn it around so you can see and explain it to you so you know how to put it back on. The straight one goes across the top of the carburetor and down in, and then this comes up, and this little lip here is for the spring to sit in. Okay, see, now I can get all this, I can clean all this up, makes it that much easier. Okay, alright, let's take that flywheel off now. Alright, I usually don't use air tools on these things here, but I won't be able to hold this with my hand and unbolt that, so we're going to use the air gun. Take this off. Okay. Alright, and take the flywheel off. I'm not a big fan of taking a flywheel off by smacking it and putting a pry bar under it. I don't mind smacking it with a hammer, but it has holes here, but they're not tapped. So I put the nut on flush, and like I said, I got the pry bar here. I'm not a big fan of that, but I moved the flywheel around here where it got a lot of meat, and see what we can do. There we go. Yeah, I don't like doing that, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. You know what? I got yours under here. Let's get a screwdriver. We'll pry this off. See what them points look like, just for fun. I don't know how to screwdriver, but let me get that air gun out of the way so you don't get hurt. I think this bottom piece just slips out of here, if I recall. Yeah, let me find your screwdriver. I've got a little screwdriver here. This should pop right in. I don't know why I was having so much trouble here. There we go. And then this sort of just swings around here. See, it's in a little hole. Looks like this was crushed a little bit. It's all out of shape. We can fix that. That point looks pretty good. Okay. I was just curious. Alright. Let me put that back on, and then I'm going to call Mike, see if he's in the area. And then we'll go outside and clean this thing up a little bit. Alright. I was able to get hold of my buddy Mike, and he came over. He's going to check it out for me.
Yeah.
How's it look, buddy?
Well, definitely got some chips off the varnish.
You know, I seen one chip or two chip, and then I cleaned all the oil off.
Yeah.
And I seen a whole lot more.
It got worse, huh?
It did. Yeah. It got worser.
Yeah. I mean, these aren't the end of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Really, because when you think about it, from one winding to the other, there's not that much voltage potential between the two. So, the odds of a flashover likely aren't that great. And, if I was going to, when you get this running, you clean it real well with some lacquer thinner or whatever, or mineral spirits, and then you take that brush-on electrical tape. Just kind of brush all over this, and
right.
That'll seal it up pretty well. But before we do that, we'll check the continuity through the coil, and then the continuity to ground, and make sure that we don't have any shorts to ground. Because this is all just one big coil here.
Right.
One end goes through, jumps over, goes through to the other end. So should be pretty straightforward.
So you need a meter?
Yeah.
Let me see. Here.
Okay. So what I would expect to see a very low resistance through the stator, through the coil itself. Maybe probably an ohm or even less than an ohm. So.
Yeah, I'm glad I was able to get hold of you, because if this isn't any good, then the rest of it anymore. It's a vertical engine.
Right. So, just checking our leads there. So, hook one here. All right, yeah, half an ohm, 0.5 ohms. So, that sounds about right. The wire is pretty thick gauge. It's probably 18 gauge wire. So, all right, and then we'll just check to ground. Look for a clean ground here. There's a chunk missing right there. So, let's make sure here. Make sure we got a good ground there. Nope, no, don't really. Okay. Let's go.
I didn't like that, huh?
Yeah, well, it's showing dead short, which isn't great. That's odd. Well, these. So when these were hooked up, were they actually hooked onto a receptacle or no?
No, there's no receptacle. There was a box, but it was just hanging in there.
They were just hanging out? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I might expect to see one end of this coil of the stator grounded as the neutral or the grounded conductor, but we can look at your other unit. But these should, both ends of this is very likely they should be insulated. They should be the hot and the neutral, not grounded. But we got a dead short somewhere to ground. So I think we're going to have to take the stator off or out of the housing, the actual laminated stator out of this housing, and take a look at the backside and see what that looks like.
Okay.
And see if we can find an obvious nick somewhere where it might be grounded. And actually I have my flashlight here. Let's see.
What were you telling me about that? That's a magnet?
Yeah, it looks like a permanent magnet generator. So there's going to be a couple magnets in this aluminum disc here. So Yeah, we've got no rotor windings or anything like that. No voltage regulator, so it's really basic generator.
Okay. All right. Well, let's. It looks like these might be Allen screws holding in or something, huh?
Yeah, I see one over here. There might be a couple around. There's actually one down here too. Probably 4. I guess they're clamping that in there.
All right. Hey, let me get some Allen wrenches and we'll try and get that off.
All right.
All right. This was held in by look like 4 little Allen screws. Mike's gonna try and pull that out.
Yeah, I might need you to hold back on it.
All right. I got the muffler.
Depending on how strong those magnets are.
It's moving, buddy.
Yeah.
Don't get your finger stuck.
Ooh, ow. Almost got it. That magnet's really strong.
Oh, I'm looking at the outside and I'm saying, what the hell is he talking about? I haven't seen any magnets.
Yeah.
There's that magnet on the inside.
Yeah,
Look at them all.
I know,
Good
they're all
God.
in line.
That's crazy, man.
Magnets.
Huh. Okay, so now this is on our way. You want to get rid of that?
Yeah, we can set that down. Lay this over. Take a closer look at that.
Yeah, I'm wondering what the hell was holding it there. I didn't think it was that many magnets.
Yeah. Well, there's really it's 2 poles. So you're gonna have a north pole.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they're pretty strong, aren't they?
Yeah.
So if I'll rotate it. So there's where they start and they end. So that's 1 pole. So it's either north or south. And then there's the other pole right there. So what you have is pretty much north and south rotating around in this thing. So it's pretty neat.
That is interesting.
I'd say it looks like it's been rubbing. You know, you can see a lot of
one side's shiny, the other side's all rough.
Yeah.
It is a rubber good.
So it's definitely been rubbing. So I can take a peek here at the stator. A couple more nicks in the varnish, but nothing too critical. Oh,
Uh-oh.
there it is.
Mike sees something.
Bam, right there. Let me get my flashlight out. I guarantee you, right there's your problem.
Wow, look at that.
Look at that.
That's why I call in the pros.
Hot wire. Oh, look at that. Yep, right on the pole, or not the pole, but the slot. Yeah, you see? Yeah, that got hot, and that burned, and it went right through.
Huh.
Yeah, I would bet money that that's your problem. As you can see, oh, you know what? Look at that, because you can see the insulating paper. See the paper that lines the grooves right here, and it's folded over.
Yeah.
So here are these, like I forget what these are called, but there's the keepers that they slide in to keep the winding down, and then the troughs themselves are lined with this insulating paper. But over here, looks like that paper either was burned away or eaten away, and that wire vibrated right into that lamination and the edge of that slot.
Point at it now, because I was at a bad angle.
Can you see it there?
Yeah.
So,
Junk.
I mean, you could snip these zip ties and gently try to pull all these windings out, but yeah, I mean, it might be a project to see if we could do it, but it would never be quite right, because there's multiple slots where the paper's missing here in a row, and it actually, wow, you can see where, look at these insulating bits here. Let me get a little pick. These should be like continuous through these slots. You see how this one, it's a continuous bar? Well, there's a big hole, like a blown out chunk missing. So that's actually here as well. You got a bunch of big blown out pieces here, here, where that got really hot and it probably burned these out. So I could probably, this is probably pretty loose in here. Let me hold the light here. I could probably slip this right out. see it. I can see it moving around there.
Yeah, I see it moving.
Yeah. But yeah, I think she's pretty cooked. Unfortunately.
Oh well.
Apollo 13's not taking off. They didn't even get out of the
Houston, we have a problem.
Yeah.
Let me get your little flathead, you can knock it out.
Actually, you know what? You can see it's farther back than I thought. So even though there's a big chunk missing, it's kind of in there. So it would be a bit of a chore to get that out. But we can dig into it a little bit more if you like.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, Mike's had a better chance to look at all of this, and what do you think, Mike?
Well, it could be fixed, right? But by the time you spend digging through, identifying any faults, then re-insulating it, re-insulating the windings and everything like that, you know, if you wanted to do it for a project, you could, but there's really no sense in doing it because the thing doesn't really have any value.
No.
You know, as a generator, it has more value as an oddity because it's unique looking than it does as a generator. So, and the more I look, the more I see what we couldn't see while it was still mounted in the housing.
Right.
So
we started out with one short, and then you're looking and you're seeing more. You know?
So let's see. We saw them. We showed them the bad short on the other side, but in looking, there's a little pick out. I can point my little pointer. So right here, it's actually, I think it might be the other end of that slot. The paper's gone, and that wire, although it's not bright copper color like the other one, that's right up against the lamination of the stator, so that's probably shorted out as well. And you can see all of this dark area. See how that's...
Does that light have variable brightness? Put it as low as it'll go.
That's as low as it'll go.
Okay, right there is better because it was just reflecting
Blinding.
way too much.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's that. And the other winding there, this wire right against the stator. So, and then you can see, I don't know what these are made out of, some kind of like phenolic resin, where you can see their natural color, and they're burned away, like charred right through this area here. Multiple slots, and then on this side as well.
You know what's interesting, Mike? On my camera here, I'm getting all kinds of fluttering, Mike.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, this is the light is pulse width modulated, so this light is turning on and off, however many times a second to fool us into thinking it's dim, but it's.
Oh, okay.
That's so your frame rate of your camera and the pulsing of my light is probably fiddling with each other.
Yeah, because even this camera, sometimes people weld, you see their camera go crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
This camera doesn't do that. That's the first time I've seen that. Interesting.
You know what's also interesting is, look, here's a high spot, and it's almost like a high spot all the way around the stator and here as well. So, all right, well, let's, this is interesting. So let's think of the failure mode here. So I feel these high spots correspond with the low spots here on the rotor. Mm-hmm. So here's what I think happened. I think that those little set screws were very important for keeping the stator properly aligned in this housing.
Right.
The set screws loosened up. The stator shifted into the rotor here, and that heat probably initially started to burn away the insulation, and then once the short to ground happened, that caused all the windings to overheat, probably loaded the engine down, started smoking the thing, and burned up. Because if you look on this side, everything's perfect.
Yep.
Let me get a little wire brush.
I got another theory. Because I've had employees.
Oh, man.
Sometimes people drop stuff.
Oh. And
I think what happened is somebody dropped this.
Yes.
And it landed cattywampus. And it was never the same.
That's probably, that could very well be as well. Somebody dropped it on one of its feet in such a way that it shifted. Because look, all of these slots, perfect. No issue. Because this wasn't rubbing against the rotor.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's...
And that last screw you took out, Mike, was crooked.
Yes.
And there's also a crack there.
Yeah, it's cracked and it's all dented up here.
Yeah.
So.
That's what it was.
Yeah, you're probably spot on.
Oh well. You know what? There's no reason to continue on with this because has, like you say, has no value other than being an oddity.
Right.
And I don't even feel like fixing it to make it, run and.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, it would just be a noise machine at that point.
Yep.
Wouldn't be a generator. Just be a noisemaker.
We could hook up a fake light bulb with a battery in it, and people would think it was working, but
Right.
we're not into that. We got so much work, Mike.
I know.
All right. You know what? We say we bag this one.
Yep. That's it.
Oh, there aren't even any parts I could save. Maybe the coil. I don't even know if that coil's good.
Yeah, well, it might be worth saving the magneto, the whole mag assembly.
I don't come across these. I think this might be a loss, and I don't even think it was Tecumseh by this time.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, an LAV 35, or that's a 30, LAV 30.
Yeah.
What
It's only a 3-horse.
That's it, yeah.
67.
Okay. 67, okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I mean, yeah, the thing is they kept these, they made so many of these for so long. Like, the internal parts probably aren't that uncommon. I don't know what the crankshaft looks like. It might be a desirable crankshaft, but by the time you find somebody that needs that crankshaft, it's probably going to be rusted away.
Right. Oh well.
The coil, they use these on so many engines. It might be worth saving. So.
Oh well. Yeah, we'll look at it. Maybe we'll disassemble it, and whatever parts we can save, we will. Little parts, but like I say, it's not even a horizontal engine. So. All right. Well, thanks for coming over and stopping because you saved me the trouble even washing it.
Yeah.
Let alone fixing it and get it running. So. Oh well.
My pleasure.
All right. Well, there you go, Tubes. And that's why I got Mike around here. He's the last word when it comes to generators. All right, buddy. What do you say? Enough of this?
Enough of this.
All right. See you guys later. All right. It's the next day. Here's a little bonus footage for you. I had nothing to do, and I figured, okay, let me put this together and just get it running, because I figured the only reason it wasn't working was because the generator crapped out. But I even made little standoffs here, little aluminum standoffs, so I didn't have the Stator in there to rub against that magnet. That's a strong magnet. Boy, that's crazy. That's crazy strong. Look at that. Look at that. I can't even, look at it. It's pulling the motor. Just that little bit of touch there, pulling the whole thing off of my cart here. That's crazy. So anyway, I started putting it together. I adjusted the points and cleaned them. I checked the condenser. Condenser was good, everything like that. And I figured, okay, everything's clean. Put it back together. I put the fins back on here. Was that the magneto? I don't even know what the hell to call it. But anyway, put that back on there and checked for a spark. And I had no spark. So while it was on there, I tried starting with a screw gun and had it spinning fast and everything, and still no spark. Changed spark plugs, and then I took it apart and checked the coil here with a meter, and it's no good. So the coil's no good. They're cheap too. You can get that coil for $12, but you don't put. There's no reason to put any money into this engine. I think I'm just gonna gut it, tear it down, and maybe take the piston. I don't even know how good the internals are. This thing's been so abused. But sometimes, like the valves, me and Mike can cut them and make them fit almost anything we need. So, that's where we're at. So, I thought I was gonna get it running and show you it running, but it's just not worth it. So there you go. All right, see you guys in the next one.